Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be going over a Zilean gameplay here. This is Platinum. They were curious about how they could have won. They ended up losing, but they felt like they could have won it. So they want to know what they could have done differently to be able to possibly get a win here. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So as support, you always want to think about, what's your matchup and what your ADC wants to do. I always kind of think of it that way. So we can start with like just the ADC, right? Like, what does my ADC really want to do? Well, Twitch really just wants to farm. He could go for trades. He can go for a little poke and whatnot. But for the most part, that guy's main goal is to just get his items, and then he'll start popping off. That's pretty much how that champion works. Whether he be AP or AD, that's how he works. But if you notice that he's building AP, he will scale a little bit faster than he will be with the AD build. So you could look for a little bit more fights if he's going AP. Now we have Nami and Jhin. Now you got to think about, well, what does Jhin want to do, right? Jin's more of a poke, he's more of a kill, and then he can also just sit there and farm for items. Pretty much, he's a jack of all trades. There's a couple of champs like that where they're jack of all trades. Jhin is one of them, and then you have Nami here, which is pretty much just gonna buff him. So he can do everything. You just gotta be watching out and being careful of that. So now that we figured out what we're going to do, that dictates how we're going to play this lane. We're not really looking for kills. We're pretty much just looking to poke, maybe get them a little bit low, maybe finish them off there. But, for the most part, we're just chilling. We're just going to have it be kind of passive. When we have Anivia and Corki mid, we want to look at that lane because we want to see, is Corki going to roam? Like, is their mid laner going to be one to roam? Can Corki outclear Anivia? Yes, especially early. So he can be looking to roam, so you got to keep an eye out for that if that guy decides to roam. And then you also have Zed into Gwen, the jungle matchup there. And Zed is probably going to be the one to invade Gwen and look for fights. So whenever Gwen is on the bot side, that's what you got to pay attention to, the Zed invades. So we can just kind of sum everything up. If Gwen's on the bot side, pay attention to her. She might get invaded by Zed. If Corki's pushed up, he's probably going to look for a roam. Be careful. And as far as our bot lane goes, we're going to play pretty passive, maybe look for some poke here or there, but nothing really too crazy because, my ADC doesn't really care too much about that. Okay, so let's just see. All right, we gave up a little bit of the pressure. So you want to be thinking about, like, the fact that these guys can heal up the damage that you do. It's very important to not try to go with even trades with them because you'll never go even with them because she'll heal up everything. That's how you are with poke versus sustain. You don't really have much options when it comes to that. Either you kill them or you just kind of back off and chill and really look to chunk if you can. But little pokes like you were doing, little trades like that, you'll just always lose out. Like, even if you weren't low like that, like, look at the damage that you do and then look at the damage she mitigates. Look at that. You autoed her, she didn't do anything, plus she poked you out. And then if we look at it again, you threw the bomb on. Once again, she trades, she heals you, she beats you still. So the way you want to think about this matchup, because you really can't do anything. Like I said, we have to pretty much play to that Twitch. The way we want to think about it is this. Let me get my little notepad thing here. All right. Boop, boop, boop. When going versus sustain lanes, your best bet is to just back off and launch abilities. So you're not really launching the abilities to poke them. What you're doing is you're launching your abilities to zone them away from your Twitch. If we pay attention here, every time you walk up and getting ready to throw a bomb, they do back off a little bit. Whether or not they back off entirely, look, they respect it. See? So you have to change your mindset into, I'm not really throwing the bombs to just like actually deal damage. I'm throwing the bombs to zone the guy away. Because if I do go for trades, if I do go for poke, I am going to be poked out and we are going to lose the trades every single time. Now, that trade right there not only costs you, but it also costs your ADC. Because now he has to play a little bit more safe in order to play his lane. Unless this Jhin just is incomplete. Dumb butt. But he's not. Yeah, so see, he's just going to have to play way more passive than normal because, that trade was crucial. Almost died there. Very, very close. All right, let's come back to lane. So what I want to see more from you is just throwing my bombs out to zone, throwing my bombs out not just for damage. Use my abilities in different types of ways. Another way you can do it is like you throw your bomb, zone them out, and then if she walks up, slow and run away. Like you're not really looking to actually fight them. You're just looking to draw pressure off of your carry so he can farm up. Okay, I like that we shoved up and then we went to ward together. If the jungler's there, you guys can handle it. Okay. Now we're really in a bad spot. If you notice we're in a bad spot and the wave isn't going to shove to us, you've got to start like throwing bombs to break the wave freeze. Now this Jhin is going to shove it because that's just what Jhins do. Jhins, Dravens, Tristanas, like they're known to kind of just push the wave. Even if it's just a little bit, it'll be enough to push it back to us. But if you're playing with something that will hard freeze it right here, just throw your oops, that was an accident. Just throw your bombs like right here. I mean, if they're gonna hard freeze it right here, just throw your bombs like back there, like just to make it so that we can kind of start the wave to be pushing. Get some auto attacks in there so we can break the freeze and it can come right back to the middle and we can try to freeze it near our tower because we are in a really crappy spot right now. I mean, look at your ADC. He doesn't even really understand what he's trying to do. He still keeps shoving it, which if he just let it go, Jhin would be able to shove it back into him, and you guys wouldn't be in this spot. Let's see how long you guys remain here. Okay, I didn't think it'd be that long. Okay, now we are able to freeze it. And as a support, it's your job to kind of pay attention to the wave state. Now, you're not going to be destroying the minions. Like, that's not your job. But if you can, like, lower them to the point where all he has to do is auto at one time, that's really good if you know that you guys are going to be shoved up. So this is wave management for the support here. If you know that we're going to be pushed in and the wave is going to hit the tower and going to be under the tower before my ADC can even do anything, start autoing it so that way he can just auto attack it once, and he can relieve some of that stress from that wave, okay? So let's put this. If we know the wave is going to be frozen near their tower or is going to be pushing into our tower, try to skim the wave so it's easier to reset or freeze. So if it is getting shoved into their tower, just kind of, I want to recap on this. If it is going to be shoved into a tower and we're forced to sit right here, do your best to kind of make the minions low so that way we can reset the wave back. Okay, so if it's shoving up and it's frozen in this crap spot, try to get the wave to push by just hitting it. Your ADC is going to be mad, but you know, they don't know what they're talking about. If it gets to here and we know that the wave is huge and it's going to start crashing into us, try to thin it out so that way the ADC doesn't have to worry about CSing on their tower. You guys don't lose plates. They don't get control under you. This is very important versus like Caitlyn lanes. They're very good at like wanting to keep your ADC under the tower. Especially a champ like Twitch. He just throws his W. You could just clear everything if you got it low enough for him. All right. So I want to try to get to the point where... Oh, there goes the Corki roam, right? She's shoved up. Is Corki gonna roam? Yep. There's things we gotta watch out for and things we gotta ping our teammates. We know we don't win fights down here. We don't win any 3v3s or 4v4s. That means no fight should be taking place bot. If anyone tries to start anything, ping them back. Now that was a almost 100-0 kill. Let's go back and see what happened. Okay. Got the stun off. Got the stun off again, and he was able to pretty much just insta kill. And that's what you're looking for when you're versus a sustained lane. What you were doing earlier was just making yourself out of a harder lane because you realistically couldn't kill him, and the trades that you go for, they'll heal back up. But when you know you can all in them, that's when you beat a sustained lane. So good job there. Okay. Now, like I said, I want to kind of get to the point where we start, like, where the game just takes a turn and we can see what's going on there. Okay. Just little trades. Forks nuts to go back. Ooh, that sucks. I mean, there's nothing to say. That sucks. Zed was just in the bush. Alright, looking for a roam here. We know Dragon's coming up, so we should be pinging our jungler. Dragon. Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds. It's like every time it's like I ping it at the 1:30, I ping it at the 1 minute, I ping it at the 30 seconds. You have to be really pinging that Dragon's coming up. Let's see when you do ping it. Okay, you ping it now. So that's good. But look how far she is. How can she react to that, right? But if you did it a minute and 30 seconds beforehand, so let's just go back to 13:18. If you ping it right now and she's starting her clear, in her head, what she can do is she can already start being ready to path down and be ready for Dragon. You kind of have to put that subliminal message into their head. Like when you're playing support, the best thing you can do is play through your carries. You have to really point them in the right direction. Let them know what to do when it's time to do it. Nice. Gotta be careful. Zed could be coming up, but you do have R. Now that we had that fight, we can't possibly contest Dragon. So as a support, or any lane in general, mid or support, or AD carry, you have to be cautious of taking trades and doing fights, because if you're forced to back or you do die, you end up giving the Dragon even though, you know, you might have won out, because you have to back. So there's no way they can contest and they get a free Dragon all because of what we just did right there. You really have to point your team into the direction of securing objectives. So you ping people back if it's a fight and it's not for the objective, if the objective is coming up or it is up at that point in time. So what we're going to say is look to have more fights for objectives when they are up and spawning versus just fighting to win your lane. So the fight that you did wasn't bad, but because Dragon was up, it was bad. You just gave up a free Dragon with that choice when you could have had that same fight at Dragon, you know? So little things like that would help you close out a game a lot easier. We gave 2 Dragons already, and that was a Dragon that we could have secured. We should be looking to make our way to Rift Herald now. Once again, just play for objectives. Like, you got to really think about that. Like, I have to play for objectives. I can't just kind of walk around looking for fights. I can't, we have to get these things. They got Rift Herald there, right? Yeah, they did. They got Rift Herald there. And now we're up here, but the Rift Herald's gone. Okay, Dragon's coming up in a minute. Nobody pings it on your team. Waiting for you to ping it, Nobody pings it. We were able to secure it, but that's because our team was already ready for it. But like I said, you know, sometimes your teams just don't pay attention to those things spawning, and they don't get it. So you got to make sure every single time I'm pinging that Dragon, I'm pinging that Rift Herald. Dude, get that Drag, get that Rift Herald. Their jungler's bot, they just ganked us. Get the Rift Herald, you know, little stuff like that. You don't have to type it, but you can ping it. So far, objective control is why this game isn't more in our favor. I know how it feels. I know how it feels to like try to go ward and then you die. It sucks. The best thing for that is just to go with a team rather than just go by yourself. Or after a fight breaks out, and you guys finish the fight, you can go ward. Or when you see people back, you can go ward. So if you're going to go ward neutral zone or enemy territory, just make sure you have eyes on people. Or make sure you have a group with you. I'm not going to write that down because it's something small, but, you know. Yeah, I know. Okay, Dragon's coming up in a minute. We gotta be careful, because if we expend all of our ultimates and things like that, we won't have it for Dragon fight. Okay, now let's see whose ult is up by the time Dragon spawns. We're not even at Dragon. 2 of our teammates are dead. Twitch has no R. Like, that's not a Dragon we get. Why? Because the same thing happened. You're allowing fights to take place when something is already getting ready to get up and spawn. You have to do a better job of, like, micromanaging your team and telling them where to fight. You don't have to tell them when and how to do it, but as long as you say back, 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 dragon, dragon. At least if they go to dragon and we had that fight and we end up winning, we get dragon. But we fight there, we recall, and then we have to go to dragon, and then we're not ready for that fight. You know what I mean? So way more objective control is what I want to see. Okay, we're at Baron side, which is fine. You're forced to use your ult. And now you know that you have to back and your ult is down, you have to ping your team back. Back, 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 back. You're just letting them overstay, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to die. I could be wrong, but let's see what happens. Back, back, Aurelia. Back, Anivia. Back, back, back. Careful, Aurelia. Careful, Aurelia. Careful. Back, 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 Aurelia. Careful. Back, back, back. What is she doing? Back, back, back. Like, you gotta be pinging that. Gwen, back. What are you doing? Back, back. Back, back. Careful. Back, careful. They're coming up. Back, back, back. You see? Like, there's no pings coming from you. And you're just allowing this game to do this. Pretty much what I'm saying is, like, in order for you to win a support, your team does well, and you're there to support, and you're very good at supporting your team. But if they do bad, you don't really have what it takes to carry them when they're bad players. Does that make sense? Are you duoing? That could probably be why. Let me see. You duo? Is that the guy in your game? Yeah, so you do duo pretty frequently. Some of your games you don't duo. Looks like. But okay. You don't duo all the time, but you duo sometimes. Yeah, you want to make sure that you actually know how to steer your team in the right direction. If your team does well, like I said, you're very good at supporting them. You're very good at making sure that, okay, you're doing well. Dude, I know how to make you do even better. But when your team's doing bad, you don't know how to make them do well. Does that make sense? And that comes along with, like, the objective controls. That comes along with stopping these fights. That comes along with having people not be out of position. Like right here. We don't know where anybody is. One's dead. One's in base. Twitch is right there. Why are we allowing this to happen? We're zooming her up. She's ghosting. We're going all right here. I mean, hopefully we get a kill and it works out. But it would suck if, you know, you guys end up dying for it. So you guys do get it. But what was that for? What did we gain? There's nothing up. We're just going to farm again. So that was a risky play for no reason. And what if that Gwen sucks and you did that and she dies and then you die? That would suck, wouldn't it? It would blow. Now you don't have R. Gwen doesn't have R for this next fight that's going to happen. And we lose out. Why? Because you had to back. Gwen had to back because you guys were low after you chased that kill down there. This is a fine fight. We know Dragon's coming up in 30, so it's okay to chase this one. You just got to distinguish which fights are worth fighting and which fights are not worth fighting. And tell your team to back off. That's pretty much what's happening. Oops, wrong button. Alright, so let's open this up. Ping or figure out which fights are worth fighting and which ones are not. Ping your team back. So I think the homework should definitely be number 3 and 4. We need to look to fight for objectives more often. We need to look to ping for objectives more often. And then we want to figure out just kind of which fights are good fights and bad fights, you know? Not only do we have to ping like, okay, Dragon's coming up, but if there's a fight that's about to take place right here and Dragon's coming up, although that might be a good fight for us, why fight there? We're not going to get Dragon if we end up losing, or, you know, if we're chunked out because we have to recall. And if somebody's already coming from here, like, it's just not worth it. If we fight down here, not only is it going to allow your team to, you know, walk from here to here, which is going to at least be 10, 20 seconds-ish, maybe not 20, about like 10, 15 seconds. That's enough to have Dragon get ready to spawn, and it could be spawning in 10 seconds. We kill them, we get Dragon. Even if someone's TPing or coming from base, they can't make it in time because Dragon's gone. You know, especially when a threat is huge and they can 1v like 5, you'd rather have that fight here and make sure that they don't have a way to 1v5 after the fight is over. So I hope this helped. Like I said, I want to see more just you pinging your team back and more objective control plays, okay? Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. If any of you guys are interested in coaching, CoachBlanket.com is where you want to go. For the first timers, remember, use the code FIRST and you'll get $5 off of anything on my site. Once again, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day and night, and thank you guys for approaching this like a coach.